Yeah, I did talk to Tony. What did I ask Tony? What did I ask Tony?
At the AT&T Center, where the Spurs just beat the Dallas Mavericks 115-108 in Tony Parker's season debut.
Yeah.
Fans were excited.
The fans were super excited. Tony was excited. I mean, the whole time down in the locker room, he wouldn't stop smiling. That's what I noticed more than anything. So I guess when you go through an injury that way and you think you're going to be gone until January and you're back, 2 months early? And according to him, what he just said, he was ready 2 weeks ago, but in Spurs, we trust they don't rush anybody back. So he told Pop, hey, they agreed on 15 minutes. He was a little bit below. That's what he'll probably stay at over the next couple of games, right at that 15-minute mark. They're not going to push him. So he was just happy to be back out there. You could tell he was genuinely, when you go through an injury that takes that long to rehab, most athletes, you saw it with the Minnesota Vikings, Teddy Bridgewater, he was crying because he was back. When you go through a tough injury and you get back in that rehab process, you're just happy to be back because you think the game might be taken away from you earlier than you want to. So he was happy to be back.
That's what he said in shoot around. He's like, you just, get a different perspective. You enjoy it more because 7 months is a long time.
It's humbling because he's never had a injury of this magnitude. Yeah. So it's humbling. Game always take away from you. You see Murray playing well. You see Forbes playing well. You see Patty get re-signed. You hear the Chris Paul rumors in the summer. So you're like, ugh. So you go even harder. He said he lifted more weights in this rehab than he's ever done in his whole career. He wasn't going to give them 20 points, but he was going to give them an emotional lift. It didn't work out that way in the beginning, but in the end, they got the W.
Did Coach Pop's ejection give them an emotional lift, do you think?
I talked to Danny Green. I said, hey, Danny, what goes through your mind when you see Pop get tossed? And he's like, hey, we got to play better. Normally, that's what the coach is looking for, like some type of spark, because at that time they've been struggling. And it still took them a while, but they got over it. I don't think it worked out how it's supposed to, but I also think Pop, I don't have any inside information, but I also think he likes to get his assistant coaches some work. So while some coaches may do it to spark the players, I think when Pop does it sometimes, he wants his assistant coaches to get some work. Hey, get some experience.
We saw Ettore Messina on the sidelines. Yeah. He was very active and he's very into the game.
Yeah. No, that's who he is. If you've seen him, any of his footage overseas coaching, that's who he is. And a lot of people feel like, I was asked today, by one of the media members, do you think Memphis will look at him since they fired their coach? I don't know if it'll be Memphis, but at some point he will have a job in this league.
And Lamarcus Aldridge, season high, right?
Wow.
33 points.
And to me, considering Dallas plays so small, when you get 58 from Powell and Lamarcus, that's what everyone's looking for. Like, okay, if they're going to beat the Twin Towers in a small ball world, which we live in, then y'all have to dominate.
What did you think of the Spurs bench tonight?
It was shaky at best, but there was no Rudy Gay tonight. Rudy Gay's been huge physically. I mean, literally and, mentally for them as far as that goes. Edit that out or leave it. I don't care. Patty, still waiting on Patty.
There's little sparks of Patty,
There's little sparks of Patty, that's it. But there's fireworks with Forbes. Forbes is the reason why things opened up in the fourth quarter for Lamarcus and for Powell, because he started knocking down those shots. Danny knocked down some big shots. Danny got some key steals as well. And with Tony back, now you have Tony, Patty, Murray, and Forbes, all point guards. Murray didn't get many minutes tonight. So that's going to be something Pop is going to have to juggle here until April, May, when we get started playing.
How much of an impact do you think DeJounte Murray's absence, from the first 3 quarters had?
I don't know if it had that much effect on them as much as it may affect on the team as it may have affected him. I'm more worried about his psyche because you come into season starting, the next thing you know, you're not starting but you're still playing, and then next thing you know, Tony's back. Now your minutes are really diminished. So I want to see if he's mature enough to keep practicing, keep putting in the work, and to stay ready.
There was a lot of debate on whether there was going to be a starting point guard controversy, so.
That got put to bed tonight.
It did.
Tony's first game back, he's in the starting lineup.
So we'll be back Wednesday night at the AT&T Center. That game's tipping off at 7:30 p.m. Throw your hat.
Just kidding. I don't have a haircut.